What's up, everyone? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. Now, to get us started in today's video, we've got a clip of John Deaton shared by the Digital Asset Investor. He says that he wouldn't be surprised if we see a conclusion of the SEC versus Ripple case by the end of this week. He further states that he would be surprised if we were still waiting by the end of April.
But I wouldn't be surprised if it's by the end of this week. And this is what I do. I go by what historically she's done. And if you look at previous cases of hers, there's been times where she's done the summary judgment ruling at the same time as the Daubert ruling. There was a case where she gave both rulings simultaneously. And that's why when the Daubert motion came down, I said the summary judgment could be tonight. Then there was another case where she did the Daubert rulings and 2 weeks went by and she gave the decision on summary judgment. And there was a case where she did the Daubert ruling and 60 days between. So although I'm guessing, I can tell you this, that I would be very surprised if it's not within the next 30 days. If late April comes and we're still waiting, I'll genuinely be surprised, and it would be inconsistent with the way she's handled cases in the past. When Ripple's summary judgment decision was published, I came out and said, this is a brief written for the appellate courts, that it was written directly to the Second Circuit and the U.S. Supreme Court. It's already an appeal ready. And if you look, Brad Garlinghouse even said that Ripple was operating as though they had already lost. I don't know if you remember when he said that. And he said, listen, it's not going to get any worse for us than it is now. And basically, if you look at who they hired Michael Kellogg. Okay, Michael Kellogg is the preeminent appellate attorney in the United States of America. Neil Gorsuch, who is on the Supreme Court, used to work for Mike Kellogg, okay, as a partner there. And he used to be a solicitor general. He used to be chief Rehnquist's clerk. And so this brief is written for the appellate courts. And I've come out and said that if Ripple goes to the Supreme Court, they're going to win. Now, that's pretty confident for me to say. I said 100%, I'm sure. And there are not many things you're sure in 100%, because this Supreme Court, it overturned Roe versus Wade. No matter what your position is on it, it was 50-year precedent. They're conservative justices. And if you look at the EPA West Virginia case that Professor J.W. and I talked about recently, that's the case where they slapped down the EPA for extending its jurisdiction without congressional authorization. Does that sound familiar? A federal agency? And if you look at Michael Kellogg and his firm, he's a specialist in regulatory and appellate issues. And so if the SEC were to get an outright win, which I don't think will happen, but if they did, this is going on appeal for sure.
If this is the case, it's about time that we start loading up our bags while we still have some time to do so. And now with that said, let's roll that beautiful intro. As always, welcome back to Money Side, your favorite crypto news channel. If you're new here, welcome to the XRP Army. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications so you don't miss out on our daily crypto news updates. Looking more into the Ripple versus SEC lawsuit, we can see that the crypto community is eagerly awaiting the possible summary judgment date in the Ripple lawsuit. After a recap with legal experts, it has been speculated that the matter might be determined in the first quarter of 2023. According to Deaton, the documents relating to former SEC official William Hittman will be unsealed, regardless of the decision by presiding judge Annalisa Torres. He noted that the judge would rely on the documents to make her judgment, and in the process, declare them judicial documents and order them to be unsealed. In another update today, as shared by James Rule, according to the BBC.com, central banks are boosting the flow of U.S. dollars amid market unease. The U.S. dollar cash flow arrangement will run from Monday until at least the end of April, according to the Bank of England. Central banks will take swift action to keep cash flowing amid investors' fears. Global banking stocks slumped following the failure of Silicon Valley Bank, despite reassurances from President Biden the U.S. would do whatever is needed to protect the banking system. In more exciting news today, we've got another tweet coming to us from the Digital Asset Investor. awkward, there's a reason Pomp acts like he doesn't hear what is said. The question is not who Satoshi is, it's why the Bitcoin maxis do not want to know when they are given video evidence that Homeland Security met with the 4 Satoshis. They either know or they don't want to know. If they know, it's the biggest financial lie in history. If they don't know, it's a dangerous, willful ignorance of something that could harm the investment itself. It was never Bitcoin.
Should the United States Federal Reserve buy Bitcoin today and put it into those reserves as a hedge against all of the chaos, all of the uncertainty, all of the problems that we talked about? Or do you think it is either too early or not prudent for them to do that right now?
They don't need to hold reserves. They're the world's reserve currency. They just print dollars and build gunships and space rockets. So no, they don't need this. More contentious question is, who owns all of that Satoshi Nakamoto stuff? My theory has been from day one that this was a combination of the GCHQ in the UK and the NSA in the US that built this. I mean, I spoke to the Department of Defense several times over the years, and they don't know where Bitcoin came from, but they kind of are open to the idea that it came as a parallel system that was built as a just in case by state actors themselves, knowing that it's decentralized, but if they can play a central role in it, it's okay. So I don't know, maybe that's the stake that they already own. Who knows?
It is, it's very interesting to think about what people perceive to happen here in the future.
As we follow up with more updates on the community, we can see from Unusual Whales Twitter that there has been a social media storm, as we now have too many people seeing through all the BS we've been fed. And we're now telling the truth. A reporter asks Credit Suisse CS Chairman Axel Lehmann, who is responsible for this disaster. He says, last autumn, we had a social media storm.
Who is responsible for this disaster?
Schauen Sie.
Well,
Rückwärts zu
look.
schauen ist immer einfach. Und irgendwie
Hindsight is wonderful.
es ist einfach eine
And to
Tatsache,
point a finger,
wir
it's a fact
sicherlich seit
that
2021 mit Greenpeace
since 2021
den Schlagzeilen
with
gekommen sind.
JDOS, we never left the headlines.
Altlasten bis in
We were overtaken by legacy situations, by risks that materialized last year. We
Marktumfeld eben
were affected by a market model that does no longer work in this market environment, and many clients
gewesen.
have been very loyal for a very long time.
War
And last autumn,
Media Storm etwas
we had this social media storm,
Wirkung gehabt.
and this had huge repercussions,
Im Markt weniger im institutionellen und im professionellen
more in the retail
Der Drop
sector than in the wholesale sector, and too much becomes too much.
gekommen sind. Es ist eine
And
Kumulation
that's when we reach this point. It's accumulation of various facts
sich
that contributed to one another and then materialized at some point.
wird plötzlich
And
was zum Überlaufen gebracht.
this then caused the situation to deteriorate.
As always, do your own research and always trade safely, guys. Please keep in mind, we're not a licensed financial advisor. All videos on this channel are intended for entertainment purposes only. Let us know what you think in the comments section below, and let's have a conversation. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to like this video, and please click on that subscribe button below and turn on notifications so you get informed whenever we post our amazing content. Thanks again, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next Money Side.